There is a silent pain every man knows. You sit across from her, words flowing, eyes shifting, but something deeper is speaking, a language without sound. Her signals are there, but your doubt drowns them. Modern dating trauma has stripped men of clarity. One wrong move feels like a gamble with your value as a man. You want to act, yet hesitation becomes your prison. Female psychology is full of unspoken invitations, yet also hidden tests. And in the fog of lust, you can't tell which is which. This is the battlefield men rarely talk about. Not the fights with women, but the war within. Between lust and restraint. Between desire and emotional discipline. Stoic detachment teaches, power lies not in chasing the signal, but in mastering your frame when the signal appears. Because lust wants urgency, betrayal often begins in the cracks of that urgency. And the truth is haunting. Her silence may be louder than her words. The question is simple. Will you hear it, or will you miss it forever? Point number 1. The unspoken language of female desire. You've been in that moment before. A glance that lingers longer than it should. A touch that feels charged, not accidental. Yet she says nothing. And you're left guessing, drowning in silence. This is the unspoken language of female desire. It's never written out for you. It's hidden in pauses, in looks, in the way her energy shifts when you walk into a room. But here's the trap. Most men confuse lust with certainty. You rush in, trying to claim it, trying to prove your worth in that split second. And that's where power is lost. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Control your mind or it will control you." The meaning is brutal. If you can't master your lust in the heat of her silence, she will master you with it. The ancients knew this well. They read the world without desperation. A soldier standing guard didn't panic at every shadow. He waited still, unshaken, until he knew the real threat. Now picture the modern man, scrolling through unread texts, wondering why she left him unseen, falling for the pull-push of female psychology, where desire, rejection, and testing live side by side. That's not attraction. That's emotional blackmail disguised as curiosity. She doesn't need to say yes or no. Her silence already controls the frame unless you hold it first. This is where stoic detachment enters. It's not about ignoring her. It's about refusing to dance to signals you haven't confirmed. About recognizing that lust isn't proof of value. It's a test of your emotional discipline. Relationship power dynamics are forged in these quiet seconds. The man who lunges loses. The man who waits learns. You've seen it play out. In courtrooms where words decide custody. In offices where silence after your proposal decides whether you're respected or dismissed. In bedrooms where her stillness after your touch decides if she pulls you closer or pushes you away. Masculine control is not aggression. It is not needed. It is the refusal to betray yourself in the fog of uncertainty. Train your silence. Now ask yourself, when was the last time you let silence expose the truth, instead of scrambling to fill it? Because the harshest reality is this: her unspoken language is not meant to guide you. It is meant to test you. Fail and you live as her pawn. Pass and you remain her question mark. The lesson grows darker from here. Desire isn't just silent, it is manipulative. It is shifting, it is loyal to nothing but itself. And the man who does not understand this bleeds quietly in every relationship he enters. Point number 2. When lust collides with emotional control. You know the collision well. It's late, her body language says one thing, your mind screams another. Your chest tightens, not from fear, but from the war between urge and command. Lust wants movement now. Control whispers, wait. This is where most men shatter. They believe desire itself is permission. They confuse heat for green lights, forgetting that female psychology thrives on tension, not surrender. Seneca warned, "He is the most powerful who has himself in his own power." That isn't philosophy, it's survival. Because when lust takes the wheel, your frame is gone. Your worth drops in. Her eyes the moment you rush to claim what patience would have given freely. The ancients knew this collision too. Gladiators stepped into the arena with their blood boiling, but the ones who won weren't the most violent. They were the most disciplined, holding their strike until the exact second of truth. Now think of today's battlefield. Unread texts at midnight, stories posted to provoke you, hot and cold replies that keep you leaning forward. This is not affection. It's a test of emotional discipline. Modern dating trauma conditions you to chase. Social media validation games condition you to beg for crumbs. But stoic detachment says when lust surges, slow down. When her signals blur, stand still. When your body betrays you, let your mind command. Relationship power dynamics live or die here. Lose control and you give her the frame. Keep control and you remain the center gravity cannot shake. Control lust before it controls you. Now ask yourself, how many times have you given away your power because you mistook your desire for destiny? Because the truth is sharp. The lust will always collide with control, but only the man who commands himself can walk through the fire untouched. And what comes next is even harder because lust is not your only enemy. Sometimes the real trap isn't desire at all. It's the betrayal woven into the silence after it. Point number 3. The betrayal hidden inside mixed signals. You've felt it before. One day she leans in. Her eyes, her voice, her touch, everything feels open. Next she pulls back. Cold, silent, distant. You replay every word, every look, searching for the mistake. But the truth is sharper than that. This isn't confusion. This is control. Mixed signals are not accidents. They are a form of betrayal hidden in plain sight. They keep you chained to uncertainty, questioning your value as a man. Because the more you chase clarity, the more you bleed power. Epictetus said, "If you wish to be free, do not desire what depends on others." That line cuts through centuries. In Rome, silence could mean loyalty or treachery. A man who misread signals in the Senate didn't lose affection. He lost his life. And in modern dating, the stakes are different, but the wounds feel the same. Unread texts that sit for days. Affection that shows up only when she's bored. A kiss one night, rejection the next morning. This is female psychology at its most ruthless, giving just enough to keep you waiting, never enough to set you free. Here's the paradox. Her signals aren't for clarity. They're for leverage. They test your emotional discipline. They pull at your lust, your need for validation, your fear of rejection. The goal is not love, it's power. And this is where relationship power dynamics turn dark. The moment you react to inconsistency, you give her the frame. Your silence, your patience, your refusal to chase, those are your only shields. Stoic detachment does not mean ignoring women. It means refusing to be enslaved by their shifting signals. It means knowing your value as a man does not depend on their yes or no. Betrayal doesn't always arrive as infidelity. Sometimes it's the slow erosion of trust through confusion. Sometimes it's the invisible game that makes you question your own instincts. Never negotiate your value. Now ask yourself, how many times have you mistaken mixed signals for mystery, when they were really a mask for betrayal? Because the harsh truth is this: signals are not about love. They're about control, and the man who cannot see through them will never escape the quiet betrayal that steals his strength. The next lesson is colder still, because once you stop chasing signals, you face the silence itself. And silence has a power most men never survive. Point number 4. Reading silence without losing your frame. Silence is the sharpest weapon in relationships. It cuts deeper than words because it leaves you alone with your doubts. No answers. No closure. Only the echo of your own questions. For men, this is the hardest battlefield. Not the fight against betrayal. Not even rejection. But the long, heavy pause where nothing is said and everything is tested. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Her silence is an outside event. You can't force her to speak. You can't demand clarity without paying a price. But you can command yourself not to crumble inside it. The ancients faced the same trial. A general in Rome could wait weeks with no orders from the Senate. Silence meant uncertainty. Was he trusted or was he already replaced? The weak acted rashly. The strong held their ground, waiting for the truth to reveal itself. Now look at modern male reality. Your phone sits on the table, screen dark. Hours pass, days even. Her last message is short, her next one never comes. You sit in that quiet storm, wondering what it means. Female psychology uses silence like a blade, sometimes to test your patience, sometimes to weaken your frame, sometimes just to keep you orbiting her. This is where relationship power dynamics are won or lost. Most men break. They chase. They call, text, explain, and beg, trying to fill the void. And in doing so, they surrender their value as a man. But silence is not always betrayal. Sometimes it's neutral. Sometimes it's nothing at all. The danger lies not in her silence, but in your reaction to it. Stoic detachment is your shield. It means holding your masculine control steady, even when the noise of your own mind tries to drag you into weakness. It means remembering that her silence doesn't define you. Your discipline does. Train your silence. Now ask yourself, when she withholds words, do you hold your frame? Or do you betray yourself to prove you still matter? Because here is the cruel truth. Silence will come. It will test every man, but only the one who remains unmoved will walk out with his power intact. And what follows is even sharper, because if silence is survived, restraint itself becomes a weapon that turns her desire back toward you. Point number 5. Why restraint triggers deeper attraction. You've been told the opposite all your life. That pursuit wins her. That pressure breaks her walls. That constant attention is proof of love. But the truth is colder. The more you flood her with effort, the faster her interest drains. The more you rush in, the more invisible you become. Restraint is not a weakness. It is the one signal most men never send. And because it is rare, it holds power. Epictetus warned, "No man is free who is not a master of himself." Freedom from urgency is what women notice first. Because female psychology is wired to measure value through scarcity. What she cannot fully predict, she cannot fully control. And what she cannot control, she quietly desires. The ancients lived by this law. A king never chased subjects for loyalty. He held still. Knowing restraint drew respect more than endless words. A warrior on the battlefield didn't swing wildly in every shadow. He conserved his strike until the decisive moment. Now picture the modern man. He double texts. He explains over and over. He waits by the phone, abandoning his own plans. This is not love, it's surrender. Restraint flips the frame. It forces her to sit with the silence she created. It shows masculine control, the discipline to wait without folding. And in that space, attraction grows not because of charm, but because of the weight of your absence. Relationship power dynamics shift here. The man who chases becomes her servant. The man who waits becomes her question. And nothing unsettles a woman more than the man she cannot fully read. Stoic detachment makes this possible. It isn't about playing games. It's about mastering the urge to prove, explain, or convince. Knowing your value as a man does not depend on her response. Restraint triggers curiosity. Curiosity breeds desire. Desire, when unanswered, deepens. Never negotiate your value. Now ask yourself, when was the last time your silence made her lean forward instead of you leaning in? Because the hard truth is this: restraint isn't passive. It is the most active weapon you have. And when used with discipline, it doesn't just hold attraction, it commands it. The next reality cuts deeper still, because once you master restraint, the illusions of modern dating reveal themselves for what they are. A stage built to enslave men who cannot wait. Point number 6. Breaking free from modern dating illusions. You already know the illusion. Swipe after swipe. Profiles polished like storefronts. Pictures filtered, words rehearsed, masks layered over masks. Modern dating sells the dream of endless choice. But what it really delivers is endless doubt. Men chasing shadows, mistaking validation for intimacy. Women trading attention like currency with no cost but your time. This is not love. It is theater. And every man who buys the script loses himself a little more. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." The ancients lived in markets filled with false promises too. Merchants dressed poor grain as fine wheat. Leaders spoke loyalty while plotting betrayal. The wise man didn't rage at the deception. He trained his eye to see through it. That's the discipline modern men have forgotten. Today the stage is built on female psychology weaponized by apps. Hot one moment, cold the next. An ocean of options that aren't real. A carousel designed to keep you swiping, waiting, proving, begging. This is the trap of relationship power dynamics in the digital age. Your value as a man is buried beneath metrics, matches, likes, unread messages. You start to believe silence means failure, or that rejection means you are lesser. But it isn't about you, it's about the game. Stoic detachment is the antidote. Not withdrawal, not bitterness, clarity. The discipline to see dating illusions for what they are, tests of your emotional control, not proof of your worth. Look closer. The man who stops chasing validation is the man who gains it without effort. The one who refuses to be measured by the system becomes the outlier. Women cannot predict. Break free from the illusion. Now ask yourself, are you dating her? Or are you dating the performance she built for men who can't see through it? Because here's the brutal truth. Modern dating doesn't care about you. It cares about keeping you trapped in motion, and the only way out is to stop moving. Stand still and reclaim your frame. But freedom comes with a price. Once you escape the illusions, you're no longer blind to her tests. And every test you see clearly brings you face to face with her uncertainty. An uncertainty you can turn into power. Point number 7. Turning her uncertainty into your power. You've seen it before. Her words say one thing, her eyes another. She leans close, then retreats. She asks questions, then dodges answers. It's not clarity, it's control through uncertainty. Most men panic here. They rush to fix the tension, they beg for reassurance. They try to close the gap before she drifts away. And in doing so, they hand her the frame. But uncertainty is not your enemy. It is your chance to lead. Seneca wrote, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity." Her uncertainty is that adversity. It is the test that separates men ruled by lust from men ruled by discipline. Because while she doubts, you must stand still. While she questions, you remain grounded. While she retreats, you don't chase, you observe. The ancients understood this power. A commander didn't reveal his strategy to nervous soldiers. He let their uncertainty harden into respect as they watched his calm. And when the moment came, his silence had already won their loyalty. Modern men forget this. In today's dating psychology, uncertainty is a constant. A text left hanging, a late reply, a pause that stretches into days. She wants to see if you will flinch, if you will fold, if you will betray your own value to secure hers. But relationship power dynamics flip when you stop playing her game. Your restraint magnifies her doubt. Your calm sharpens her curiosity. Your refusal to explain yourself forces her to lean forward, to invest, to chase. This is stoic detachment in motion. Not coldness, not bitterness, but masculine control expressed through silence and patience. Her uncertainty is the soil, your discipline is the seed, and from that attraction grows deeper than words could ever create. Never negotiate your value. Now ask yourself, when her silence lingers, do you scramble to close it? Or do you let it expand until she has no choice but to fill it? Because the harsh reality is this, her uncertainty will always be there. But the man who turns it into his weapon is the man she cannot forget. And what comes next is the final shift. The quiet dominance that not only draws her in, but keeps her there bound to your frame. Point number 8. The stoic man who moves without haste. You already know the trap. She wants urgency. The world demands speed. Your own desire pushes you forward before the ground beneath you is steady. And every time you rush, you pay. You pay with mistakes. You pay with loss of respect. You pay with the quiet erosion of your frame. A stoic man cannot afford haste. He moves, but he moves when it is time. Not when lust screams or fear whispers. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining." Endurance is the weapon. Patience is the shield. It is restraint in motion, slow, deliberate, unshaken. The ancients knew this law. A general who attacked too early lost his army. A statesman who spoke too quickly lost his senate. Victory belonged to the one who could wait until the exact moment, then strike with precision. Now picture the modern battlefield. Dating apps where instant replies are worshipped. Texts where silence feels like death. A culture where women test by delay, by pause, by pullback. Most men fold. They double text. They over-explain. They sprint into traps built from their own impatience. But the stoic man does not rush. His silence is not weakness, it is weight. His calm is not emptiness, it is command. By refusing haste, he forces the world to orbit his frame instead of chasing hers. This is emotional discipline in its purest form. It is the mastery of value as a man. Because a man who cannot wait is a man who cannot lead. Train your patience. Now ask yourself, when lust, fear, or silence push you forward, do you move because you must or because you chose the exact moment to act? Because here is the final truth, haste belongs to the desperate. Deliberate movement belongs to the powerful. And the man who moves without haste owns the frame that no one can take. But even this truth carries a darker edge, because once you master patience, you'll see how fragile the world around you really is, and how many men collapse under the weight of their own urgency. You've walked through silence, signals, restraint, and power, and now you see the pattern clearly. Every test, every pause, every lure was never about her. It was about you. The battlefield is always within. Your lust, your haste, your need for certainty. That is where betrayal begins. Her actions only reveal what you refuse to master. So ask yourself, when the next test comes, will you move as a man in command, or as a man enslaved by impulse? And if you falter, what does that say about your frame? If this spoke truth, subscribe to Stoic Truth, like this video, and share it with the men who still wander blind. Because clarity shared is clarity multiplied, and the next truth will cut even deeper.